What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D. We got to talk about Jaguar or Jaguar, however way you want to pronounce it. You know, here in here in the States, for the most part, we say Jaguar. We hear Jaguar. It just sounds fancy to us. But nonetheless, let's talk about Jaguar. Remember, this was like 7, 8 months ago. They did this rebrand. It was very head scratching. They had an ad that it was very rainbow. Okay, you had these very rainbow looking people in it, androgynous looking people. It was talking about just being creative and expression, all these type of things, the usual stuff that they lean into when they're doing one of these woke rebrands. They copy nothing, just all of that stuff. It was a mess. And I remember watching that ad and thinking, what the hell does this have to do with selling cars? Like, really, what in the world does this have to do with selling cars? Like, just nothing about it was cars. I mean, nothing about it was about anything, really, because if you watch that ad, you couldn't tell what the hell they were selling, really, because there was no clear direction in terms of pushing a product. So they really went off the rails. They took a old money brand that was known for being, cool, kind of a old man's car, but just kind of classy. They tried to make it gay. I mean, that's really what they tried to do. They changed the logo, that Growler logo. They kind of got rid of that and went with this very plain, bold text. That's very, very bubbly. It just was a mess. There was nothing good about this. Well, it didn't last long. They revealed some concept electric car that people were like, what is this? This doesn't even look like a Jaguar. What in the world are we doing here? Barely 6 months after that rebrand, they made the announcement that they were going to be going in a different direction, essentially. Right? They were firing their ad agency that, I guess, hit them with this extremely bad idea. And they were going to be, I guess, rebranding again, essentially. Well, we now know why that is. The numbers are out, and after they changed the brand from being something that guys really like to something that guys want nothing to do with, they had a 97.5% drop in sales. That is crazy. I mean, falling off a cliff doesn't even begin to describe this. This has to be the worst case of go woke, go broke, or get woke, go broke, however way you want to describe it. This has to be the worst case of that I have ever seen. Really. They nearly lost their entire audience. 97% drop. You nearly lost everything. So I get it now. I get it why they suddenly wanted to go into a different direction, why they felt so compelled, because in less than 6 months, they pretty much obliterated the company. Now, I have this question, and I really want an answer to it. It's not rhetorical. Why is it that whenever these companies want to do some sort of rebrand, why do they go in this rainbow direction? It never fails. They want to do a rebrand every single time they try to do this. Bud Light tried to do it, and we saw how that worked. The worst thing about Bud Light is that it's not like They were unaware of it. There's a train coming. So there's the noise for the video, y'all. At any rate, oh, there it is. I can't tell how many cars it is from this angle. I'll roll up the windows a little bit just to muffle it some though. As I was saying, in the case of Bud Light, this woman that they hired, she told them that this is what she was gonna do. She told them she didn't want to be like the frat boy beer, and that she was gonna go after a different audience and whatnot. So when she came on board, she executed on exactly what she said she would do. It was a total disaster, but she told them of this impending disaster, and they loved the idea and hired her to do it. In the case of Jaguar, I mean, I guess it's similar. They knew this was going to be the case as well, right? Because all of their upper management, all of their executive level people are this way. It's not an accident that a brand like Jaguar ended up becoming ridiculous. They wanted it to become ridiculous. They were proud to push it in this ridiculous direction. And when they saw the immediate harsh criticisms of the direction that they were going in, they were belligerent. They were calling their install base, which this is another thing that they all do when they do this misstep. They were calling their install base intolerant and phobic and, you know, the usual nonsense. You're intolerant. You're phobic. You're a bigot. It's like, no, I just don't like this stuff. Like, why is it that everyone else, all the weirdos, can have their likes and dislikes? They can have their preferences. And that's just it, their preferences. But if you don't want to feed into this stuff that they're selling, you're all these negative labels. It can't just be like, listen, man, I don't like this. And that just is what it is. Not everything is meant for everybody. And that's okay. You don't have to sprinkle rainbow into everything. I mean, they're a small sample size of the overall population. So why is it that so often when these rebrands happen, they try to cater to this small demographic that usually, and people don't like to hear this, but usually is broke. The rainbow community, I'm sorry, at large, they're broke. You got a handful of well-to-do ones, and you have a half of a handful of ones that's actually out here being movers and shakers, really getting to the bag. The community at large is broke. And the thing is that as much as they be championing all this pandering that these companies do, it's fake. It's only support on social media. They don't go out and buy their products. Did you see an uptick in Jaguar sales from the rainbow community? Well, obviously not. The sales dropped 97.5%. So obviously not. There was not some uptick in sales from them. So that should tell you something. Why is it that they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over? In the case of others, we don't always get to see the numbers of just how bad, because they'll show some numbers, but they'll be kind of smudged to make them look better than what they are. They'll be bad, but they'll kind of cover a bit, like, oh, it's not as bad as people are saying. In the case of Jaguar, we got to see the actual freaking numbers of cars registered between one year and another, and there was no way to deny this, that the whole thing was disastrous for the company. Let me find my turn here. I'm gonna leave it there though, you guys. I think I've said everything I need to say about this Jaguar rebrand. It was a total bust, worse than any of us ever could have imagined. I don't think this is over. I think we're gonna see even more companies doing this again in the future, because they just simply will not learn. I'll leave it there though, man. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. And hit me in them comments. I'ma holler at y'all. Peace.